when you first open a jar of peanut butter, or a tub of butter or whipped cream or something, and it's this smooth, untouched, swirly surface texture of beauty? I can't help but pause and take some satisfaction in it. It's pleasing to look at, but is it art? Hey y'all, it's your good buddy Leopard Stripe here. Once again, I find myself circling back around to our infamous friend Marcel Duchamp and his toilet, because that is ultimately his point here. But in this case, I mean, how about this? Take a good look here. Is this art? Well, as soon as we've isolated something down to an it becomes art. So what is it? It is anything. Here's the actual truth of the matter. Yes, Virginia, anything can be art. It's painful to say and painful to hear, especially for those who view art as a craft. It's a jagged pill because with like math, physics, computer hacking, we want there to be some sort of barrier of entry, you know, like some kind of truths to the trade. But here's the secret. The only thing you need for something to actually be art is novelty, isolation, and observation. A universal example of this might be the sky. Every day, God says good morning and good night with an explosion of color. It's beautiful, but it's novel. It's isolated from the rest of the day and night sky. Similarly, if you look up at the clouds, you know, sometimes you're just going about your day, not paying attention. You won't care. But if you were to take a few moments, lie down on the grass, stare up at the clouds, in isolation, you make out figures. You have an appreciation for your perspective that you're getting on these clouds, the shapes and everything. You're viewing it as art. Now, there are general attributes, color combinations, form, symmetry, balance, rhythm, etc. These make up features of good art. So now this brings me to another point though. Sunsets, wood grains, auroras, and so on. These are all happenstance. There's no human creation to this art. So purely abstract art is simply a way to try to forge these serendipitous artistic moments synthetically. But that isolation, it can come in different forms. Maybe you came across a video on YouTube here of quick edits, parts of a film or show or music video or sporting event together, and you see it as art. Or you'd see music videos on MTV and going along with the music scenes that looked really artistic because they were tied to the emotion of the song. Abstract art has nothing to do with the artist. It's not up to the person who threw paint on the surface to say whether or not it's art. It's entirely up to you, the viewer. And that may change from day to day. I mean, one day you may feel an appreciation for a sunset. Another, you just consider that you're, losing light as you try to perform work outside or something. Now, this is slightly off track, but isolation is a key feature to appreciation. And I'm glad you're watching this right now, but we all need to somewhat isolate ourselves online. That doesn't mean live in an echo chamber, but it does mean if you're on YouTube, for example, choose 20 to 30 channels. And I challenge you to only watch content from those channels for a whole year. Unsubscribe to the rest. You'll find you'll develop a greater affinity for those channels and a greater appreciation for the content, even if it sucks. So, can anything be art? If we translate this to music, we instantly become much more prejudiced of good, bad, noise versus music. But it's still incredibly subjective. I mean, probably not by the wide margin we believe it is, but personally, I enjoy music that's less polished. Yes, I do love the greatest band ever, the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, and recognize the high quality production, song structures, methodical tone, sounds, and layering. But I also very much enjoy stripped down music like Dead Milkmen, Minor Threat. I'm listening to lots of synthwave lately. I digress on that, but it's easier to point out bad music and decry it's not even music, more so than visual art, because, you know, music sound is this inescapable attack on one of your senses, right? Whereas visual art, you know, you can kind of just, you know, if you don't like it, you just turn away. Whereas music, you're kind of enveloped with it, and you can't as easily get away. So you're more readily available to make a more real decision on it. Or take a bridge, any bridge you can think of right now. You know, we might not think of a bridge as art, but there are thousands of paintings of bridges. So is the painting the sole thing that makes the bridge art, or did the bridge already carry with it intrinsic artistic value? You know, is the painting the art, or is the bridge itself the art? You can apply that to any subject matter too, bowls of fruit, you know, whatever. And then we have AI. Is AI art art? Well, I mean that depends, right? Are we talking about the art department to produce a commercial product and that's it? Then sure, it's art. But art for art's sake, you know, that's a different story. In fact, it's not at all. The reason for that is that AI art has no depth. We see amazing art produced by a person. We not only appreciate the work as the finished product, but we also appreciate, you know, we're intrigued in wondering the process, wondering about the artist. If it's a sunset or a cloud, we marvel at the universe and seek deeper meaning. With AI, you may not exactly understand how, like, the computer code of AI works, but you generally understand the principle that a person programmed a computer to rearrange some pixels in a certain way. There's no real process, no real inspiration, no real turmoil, no real depth. You know, you're not sitting there marveling at the fact that, you know, this universe that you're a part of, that a fellow human created something like this, you know? Of course, that won't stop millions of people from putting AI generated images on their walls and watching and sharing AI generated content. So I say find the art in everything at the end of my videos, because you can find art in pretty much anything. And you can find my art at leopardstripe.org or over at Etsy. Of course, the water comes down here at Leopard Stripe. I'm not here to be famous or really a YouTuber. I'm here as a necessity because I would like to be successful as an artist. So if you'd like to help me out with that, please, on your way out, plunk that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, you know, all the things like that. And until next time, get some sun, touch some grass, find art in everything.